Hi everybody, this is the Baseball HUD, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion. Your host, HUD, and welcome back to another visit to the insane asylum known as WFAN.
They're coming to take me away, ha-ha, they're coming to take me away, ho-ho, hee-hee, ha-ha, to the funny fun.
And welcome back to the Baseball HUD 3, and hopefully you like this video. And of course, welcome back to the nervous hospital known as WFAN. And I'm going to talk about what was said the other day on the radio station. Now, before we get this video, I need you to hit that subscribe button. Getting awfully close to 500 subscribers. Need some more to get partially monetized for this channel, where I take super thanks because all the great, wonderful work I've done over the last 3 months. And how dare I mention money? How dare I? No channel talks about it. You know, YouTube tells you to encourage subscribers and people that watch to send you some cash. I've never seen that happen. Ask the Quarterling, one of the biggest YouTubers out there, not to talk about that. But let's talk about the New York Jets. Why? That's the first question. The New York Jets, terrible. I've said this in videos over the last few months on the other channels, is that New York Jets are like a business. And that when a business is failing, you have to make some kind of changes to break the mold. One of the things the Jets should think about doing, and this is real extreme, is move. Move out of New Jersey and go to another town. Sometimes when your business isn't doing well, if it's a failing business, you move. Or, I know it's extreme, or what you could do is change brand. I watch Bar Rescue. You know that show, Bar Rescue? I love that show because sometimes, the host, John Tafferty, he loses his mind. But he always puts better ideas on the table a lot of times for these different failing bars and restaurants. And one of the things he does on a fairly regular basis is he changes the name of the business. Because sometimes the name of a team, a name of a business, or say a name of a team is toxic. And you don't look at it as quality. And I would say the Jets organization should seriously think about doing stuff like that. Change the name of the team. If you don't want to move, change the name of the team, change the colors, do whatever the hell you got to do to change the attitude around. Now, I would also say this. The owner's in hot water right now. It's gone under the radar. It seems that Woody Johnson's name popped up in the Epstein list, and that is some disgusting list. That is really bad. As an aside, there's at least 3 owners on that list. The owner of the New York Giants, Steve Tisch, who's the minority owner, owns 45% of the team. Who, by the way, it makes sense now why they were bringing in new people like the Koch family to come in and buy a minority stake. I wonder if he's going to have to sell that team, part of the team. Of course, the owner of the Washington Commanders, he could be in trouble. And we got Woody Johnson, who's the owner of the Jets. That is about as horrible situation as you could possibly get. But I just wanted to mention that. So the Jets are in big trouble. They, as an organization, as a franchise, they need to make massive changes, and not just changing decks on the Titanic. But there's been a lot of talk that the Jets should have fired their coach, Aaron Glenn, because he was not a good coach the first year. It was a total disaster. And that they should have fired him and put in someone else. Now, they basically got rid of everybody from the coaching staff. But there's been all kinds of rumors about John Gruden, the former Raiders coach, and, of course, the Buccaneers. He's got a Super Bowl. That they're going to hire him coach, I guess the offense, 2026. Now, I'm going to read you from NewYorkSportsDay.com. Jets rumors. This is where a WFAN host gets involved in this video. Get to it already. That's another thing people say. Get to it. WFAN host predicts John Gruden will coach team in 2027. As toxic as this team is, you're probably better off getting a guy that's toxic. Just asked John Gruden to coach the Jets offense. Rumors involving Gruden to the Jets started earlier this week The Athletic Zach Rosenblatt reported that the Jets reached out to Gruden about joining Glenn's staff. This is Aaron Glenn's staff. Gruden is an offensive-minded coach, and the Jets currently need an offensive coordinator. They don't even have a quarterback. However, it's unknown if the Jets want Gruden to be the offensive coordinator. Earlier this week, the Jets parted ways with offensive coordinator Tanner Estrand after one season. There had been speculation that Glenn would demote Estrand but keep him on staff. Ultimately, the Jets moved on entirely from the young coordinator. He's gonna be great. The Jets reportedly want a veteran coordinator to run the offense. With Glenn calling the defense, the Jets essentially want a second head coach who can focus on the offense. Former Colts and Panthers head coach Frank Reich is the favorite heading into the weekend. I mean, why? Since 2001, the Jets have had 8 head coaches, including Glenn. 7 of them have been defensive coaches. The only offensive-minded head coach the Jets hired was Adam Gase. Adam Gase, remember him? He showed up stoned. To the press conference. Eyes popping out of his head. You'd think a guy who's coming to an interview like this all the time, that's not a concern. Perhaps they just need to think outside the box for their next head coach. Head coaching hire if Glenn doesn't pan out. How about get a guy that's got successful experience? Because Gase had a bad experience with the Dolphins. Enter Gruden, the former Super Bowl winning head coach. Gruden has not coached since resigning in 2021. However, Gruden has expressed interest in coaching again. While he may have turned down the opportunity to run the Jets' offense, that doesn't rule him out for a future head coaching opportunity. In fact, WFAN host Uneven Evan Roberts thinks Gruden will be the Jets' head coach in 2027. Quote, next year when the Jets fired Aaron Glenn, and they will, you people listening, and you know who you are, because you're called in for months. John Gruden. You're going to get what you want, Roberts said. John Gruden's the next head coach of the New York Jets. Well, that's not bad. He's a good coach. Because Glenn is on the hot seat, Roberts, Uneven, believes that Woody Johnson made the call to Gruden about the job. If Johnson's comfortable with Gruden helping out the offense, then he's probably okay with Gruden as the head coach. Well, let's save the drama. Let's save the time, Roberts added. The next head coach of the Jets, and I can't believe I'm saying it, because if you told me this 3 days ago, I would have hung up on you. The next head coach of the Jets is John Gruden. Am I wrong? Gruden's first head coaching gig came in 1998 as the head coach of the Oakland Raiders. Gruden went 38-26 on 4 seasons with the Raiders. In his final game with the team, Gruden and the Raiders lost the infamous Tuck Rule game to New England Patriots in the AFC divisional round. The following season, Gruden was traded to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In his first season, Gruden led the Bucs to a victory in Super Bowl 37. Gruden coached the Bucs through 2008 before he was fired. Nearly a decade later, Gruden returned to coach the Raiders in 2018. He remained with the team until 2021, when he resigned 5 games into the season after a league investigation found that Gruden sent racist, homophobic, and misogynistic emails between 2011 and 2018. Now, a couple of things. When you send out emails, that's not your personal property. So if people send to, say, a legal office, there's nothing you can do about it. Because the person that receives those emails, they own them too. Now, what I think is interesting is what you say behind closed doors should stay back there, behind closed doors. If it doesn't, affect how you're doing your job and how you treat people openly, then that shouldn't affect your job status. Now, I would mention Tiki Barber. I was listening to this whole exchange. Tiki Barber, I gotta listen now, folks. It's unbelievable. I'm listening to the station. Tiki Barber was talking about it, and his brother Rondé, who's a Hall of Famer, played for Gruden, and he said on the fan that Rondé loves him. So, I don't think that should be an issue with the players. The players don't care about this stuff. This is all a cancel culture nonsense. This is all this bullshit. It's all bullshit, all this. Can't say this, can't say that. F that. But anyway, if it doesn't affect your job and you're not like discriminating against anybody personally, it shouldn't be a problem, in my view. But what do I know? Anyway, what do you think about that? What do you think about Uneven's thoughts on this? You think he's going to be the next head coach? Well, who wants to? I mean, let's be honest. Who the hell wants to coach the New York Jets? Only a person that is crazy enough to be in the insane asylum, nervous hospital known as WFAN. Subscribe to the Baseball at 3.
They're coming to take me away, ha ha. They're coming to take me away, ho ho, hee hee, ha ha. To the funny fun.